I'm Mick, your host with the most, and welcome back to Movies TV Mad. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. So, Once Upon Time is a very interesting episode. Some people don't like it because it's throwing a lot of information at you with very little context. But that's the way he decided to do it. I think it's a little bit of a cheeky little filler episode. I also think the next episode probably is a bit of a detour episode. We see that the Doctor and her companions arrive in a place where I think there's a missing girl or child or whatever, and it's more of an investigation episode. A little few things more will be thrown at you, but again, I think that's more of a filler than this week. A filler, really, I suppose I can't really call Once Upon a Time an official filler because it really is about all the arc, but it is kind of a weird episode in sense of not doing something. The problem with, people keep on saying, oh, Doctor Who Flux is amazing, Doctor Who should be an event series forever, but what you're seeing already with Once Upon a Time and the criticisms towards it is why Doctor Who shouldn't always be an event series. You see, if you make Doctor Who an event series forever, you bang away the best thing that Russell T Davies ever did, random police box travel. Oh, we've landed on New Earth this week. Oh, we've landed at Christmas in 1820 here. We just met Charles Dickens, or whatever year it is. I'm not saying that's the accurate year, but you know what I mean. Do you really want to bin that for event stories, for event seasons? I think event series are good now and again. I think Chibnall was totally burnt out and had to do this because I think that Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat probably had a long talk with him and said, you know, play to your strengths. What you're doing in season 11 and season 12 isn't playing to your strengths, but look how well you did with Broadchurch. Try and do the same thing here. The problem is, you can already see what the issues are with Chibnall in terms of his writing. It's like he's got a lack of concentration, and what he does is he throws a lot of things at you. Mystery Box is an interesting way of telling a story. The problem with Mystery Box storytelling is this. I like it, but I would never do it in terms of writing it I do plays, so I write and direct and star in my own plays. You would very rarely do a mystery box anyway in a play, but I wouldn't do it even if I was doing, you know, kind of live action films or television. It doesn't work. Let me give you an analogy for mystery box storytelling. It's like locking someone in a cellar, giving them a parcel that's wrapped up and telling them you can't open this parcel for a year. You lock this person in the cellar and they're looking at this wrapped up parcel for a year, and their imagination goes into overdrive, imagining what it could be. In a year's time, they open it up, and it was an empty box. That's what Mystery Box is. It's just an empty box. There's nothing there. Could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be the other thing? And then it's nothing. So this is why, for example, Lost, the Lost TV series, which I adore, especially the first season, was one of the biggest mystery box television series of all time, and it was very popular. But what happened was, when we got to the series finale, everyone wanted everything explained that had been kind of teased. The problem is, with most people writing mystery box, they don't know the answers to the questions they're asking. And this was blatantly obvious in terms of Damon Lindelof, J.J. Abrams, you know, Jeffrey Lieber, and all the people working on Lost. They had no interest in answering the questions. They just wanted to ask them, because asking mystery box questions and multiple amounts of them creates intrigue and excitement, and it puts butts in seats. So I would only write mystery box stories if I had the answers, and I would have to study about human mentality to kind of work out, are my answers something that will satisfy at least most people? Because ultimately you're opening a can of worms with mystery box storytelling. Moffat did it with everything he was doing. Now, let me give you an example where Moffat actually did know the answers to his question, and it was the Impossible Girl mystery. So how did she die twice and the Doctor was meeting different versions of her? That was the question, wasn't it? Or is she Susan? Is she this? Is she that? The question started. Well, Stephen Moffat, surprisingly, because it is Stephen Moffat, as much as I love him as a writer and as a person, actually had a satisfying answer to the Impossible Girl story arc. Oh, she jumps into the timeline, and she gets splintered into different timelines, and that's how the Doctor's met different versions of her. It's logical. It makes sense. It's actually really smart. It's actually a smart answer to a very intriguing question. So I think as an experience in Doctor Who and talking about Mystery Box, that's where Moffat got it right. But there were other instances like the exploding TARDIS, which people wanted answered for a long time, and I think he did answer it. I'm not sure if it was a satisfactory answer, because I don't even think he knew it. It was something he did off the cuff, and then people wanted answers about it, and that's the problem. So Moffat did a lot of Mystery Box. Most of his stuff he did was Mystery Box, and a lot of it didn't work. But I will say the Impossible Girl thing definitely did work. So having Doctor Who as an event series isn't something they should do all the time. Now, I don't know if that's what they're planning, but again, an event series is like the Mystery Box. Yes, it's exciting, it's intriguing, but ultimately it takes away what makes Doctor Who Doctor Who. Yes, Classic Who originally went down these 4 or 5 episodes focusing on one story, but they weren't event series. They were just continuing one story, and you can do that, and you can still do that, because that's still random police box travel, because the classic series would land on one place, focus on that for 4 or 5 episodes, then the TARDIS would go somewhere else, and the same again. That is random police box travel. Doctor Who Flux isn't random police box travel, and let me explain to you why. Because it's focusing on a universal threat, on a universal event. The flux is everywhere. It's putting time and space up against each other. That affects everything and everyone. You can't go anywhere that isn't being affected by the flux. So there's no random police box travel anymore. So you've lost that. So if you keep on doing that in event series, you have a problem. Now, there's ways of doing it where if there's not a universal threat and the Doctor can still go here or there, it could work. I just think that having an event series all the time, even though it plays to Chibnall's strengths, and I think he probably should have done it from the beginning. Just imagine if season 11, with all the controversy of a female Doctor, I don't think it's a controversial thing, people do. What if he started doing an event series from the first time, from the first season? I think he would have got away with his era a lot more than he has already, because he's not capable of doing the random police box travel thing. It didn't work for him. It looks good, the production values are great, but it still doesn't feel like Doctor Who. This still doesn't feel like Doctor Who to me, but it is interesting, it is intriguing, it does ask some questions. And there's a lot of questions that need to be answered now. Who is Jo Martin's Doctor? I told you yesterday, I mean, think about this for a minute. Jodie's Doctor is looking in a mirror, and Jo's Doctor is saying, I am you, you are me, we are the same. Think about that for a minute. She's looking in a fucking mirror. She's looking at herself. No. Oh, because she's the Doctor, Mick? No. They are the same Doctor. So who's who? I would imagine that Jo Martin is the actual 13th Doctor. And because the division has done something, it's splintered them. Or something like that. So ultimately, they will converge together, and Jo Martin probably will be the actual Doctor. Or maybe the other way around, I don't know. So they are definitely the same Doctor, and this is what they're looking to do. A lot of people, even I did for a time, thought it was the Doctor in between Patrick Troughton and Jon Pertwee. That would be better, but I don't think he's going to do that. So it's interesting. He made it clear to us from the very beginning Jo Martin was a version of the Doctor. And I think the mirror thing explains everything to me. Let me just cough because my voice is getting very weak. Bloody hell. Anyway, let's continue with the show. The show must go on. So, we also met Belle, who was revealed as Vinder's girlfriend. I said yesterday I do believe that these are the Doctor's parents, in a timey-wimey way. Well, see if I'm right there. They made too much of a deal of Belle just to be Vinder's girlfriend, unless he just wanted to do it, which is typical of Chris Chibnall. But there is another bone of contention before we wrap up for today, and it's Jo Martin's lack of screen time. And I talked about this yesterday. And let me explain to you what I'm attempting to say to you here. What I'm attempting to say to you here is this, that, you know, creatives like Chris Chibnall talk about representation and inclusion. They do a lot of it. But when they have an opportunity, like on this week's Doctor Who, to have Jo Martin front and centre of a departure Doctor Who Flux episode, he passed on it. Now, I don't know if Jo's too busy doing other things to do it, but if she was available, this was an opportunity missed, because you're talking about representing women of colour, strong versions, empowered versions of women of colour, which Jo Martin's Fugitive Doctor is. We needed just to see her as the Fugitive Doctor working with the Division, you know, working with Karvanista and the other member of the team. Instead of having this Quantum Leap scenario where we saw Dan as Karvanista, blah, 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 for me, it was okay, but just having Jo Martin and the real people there would have been better. While Jodie's Doctor is looking through, I don't know, a portal storm or something, or whatever, right? That would have been great. Just allow Jo Martin to be the lead of this episode. Everybody loves her Doctor. Some people love her Doctor more than Jodie's Doctor. So this episode would have got so much credit for doing that. But Chris Chibnall didn't do that. And I think that, my friends, is a mistake. And it's also hypocritical from a creative who claims he wants to represent and include. This has been the Doctor Who Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. Until then, goodbye.